Welcome to Business Service. I am Dr. Aloni Alali, consultant public health physician, preventive medicine expert, and it's an opportunity to anchor this session on health for wealth. So this time of the year, everybody's setting goals. People have financial goals, and we're going to be discussing that a lot today. People have goals on relationship goals, marriage, and so on. But not many people set goals about their health. And that's exactly what we want to do today, to draw attention to our health. We have been trying to encourage us to be intentional about our health. So as you start the year, as you set goals for everything else, be keen to also set goals about your health. Health is wealth, like we always say. Prevention is better than cure. Prevention is cheaper than cure. And it starts by being intentional about it. People are coming down with complications of illnesses that are largely preventable. We've talked a lot about them. So for today, we want to look at areas where we should set these goals and stay healthy. Number one is as regards your weight. You know, everybody should have a target weight. We'll discuss it this morning very shortly. What is an ideal weight for your height that is healthy? We'll talk about that. We want to look at what is the target blood pressure. What should your blood pressure be like at the end of the year? What should your blood sugar be like? For the men, what should your prostate-specific antigen be like? If we have the time, we'll explain all that. For females, breast checks are important. You should have targets as regards that. And then steps to prevent cervical cancer. So the things we intend to cover are much, so we'll just take them one after the other. When it comes to weights, people are usually thoughtless about it. They just eat what they want, live how they want, and then if I gain weight, fine. If I lose weight, fine. It shouldn't be that way. There's a target weight for your height. The concept of body mass index, we've talked about that in the past, but let me just explain again. There's a range that is normal. Body mass index is a function of your height and your weight. So the weight is measured in kilograms, height in meters. So if you get the height, you multiply it twice, meter square. The weight in kilograms over the height in meters squared. So that gives you the body mass index. So when it's less than 18, it's abnormally low. Between 18 to 24.9 is considered normal. 25 to 30 is considered overweight. 30 to 35 is obese. 35 to 40 is moderately obese. So now that we understand what is normal body mass index range, the goal is how to stay within what is normal. So let's assume you want it to be at 25. So 25 equals your weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters. My height is known, weight is what we're trying to look out for now, the ideal weights. So that your ideal weights will now be the height in meters that is already squared multiplied by that 25. Whatever you get is your target weights. Now, it's a concept that is so important that we should know about, calculate it meticulously, keep it out there in front of you and work toward it. For me, I'm somewhere between 87 thereabout as an ideal weight for my height. But at the moment I weigh like 90, 91, so I still have some work to do towards dropping that 3 to 4 kg. So now that I know what I need to do to be in shape, to be what is normal for me, I have to take the steps on a daily basis on how to get there. So the steps we need to take is what we want to talk about in 1 minute. Number one thing we need to do as an adult person who is above 30, above 40, that wants to stay in shape and keep the weight where it should be, is to procure a weighing scale. Get a weighing scale, keep at home, and when you wake up in the morning, step on it and see what the weight is. Now, if it's beyond what it should be, it then means that, if you check it this morning and you're like maybe 1 or 2 kg above what you expect it to be, you do a quick recall. We call it 24-hour dietary recall. You try to remember the things you ate the last day that may have been responsible for that short rise. It could be you've taken a lot of drinks, you may have had so much cake or something, and then you could make up your mind at that moment to reduce on those dietary things. And by the next time you're stepping on the scale, you're seeing a new result. That's where it becomes part of you. And then you're always regulating your weight to be around your target weight. And it starts by knowing what the target weight is. Now, when it comes to controlling weights, some things are very important. Some known facts are established. You lose grams in the gym and kilograms in the kitchen. An important statement. You lose grams in the gym. No matter how much time you spend in the gym, it's only grams you'll be losing. But you lose kilograms in the kitchen. That means where the work is actually what you eat and what you put in your mouth. So you could spend a lot of time in the gym doing a lot of exercise and so on, but if you don't watch what you eat, it will negate every effort you had made at the point of exercise. So diet is important in weight control. Number one, you want to stay with the greens, fruits and vegetables, a lot of water. And so you want to cut down on some things. You want to cut down on red meats. It's been implicated in so many things. You want to cut down on red meat. You want to cut down on carbonated drinks. You want to cut down on fatty foods. So those are steps that one can take to keep the weight normal. But like we said, you have to understand what the target weight is, calculate it carefully, put it in front of you, take the steps that we have mentioned, and then work towards it. So when it comes to blood pressure, we've dwelt on it in the past. We talked about the normal and so on. We want your blood pressure to be around 120/80. 120 being the systolic blood pressure, 80 being the diastolic. Keeping it around that is usually safe. The blood pressure will not naturally stay there. For those who have predispositions, for those whose maybe one or both parents are hypertensive, the chances are very high that the person can become hypertensive eventually. Now, if you're not careful to check, to take the steps that you need to take, you could just see your blood pressure going up without even knowing, and before you know it, the complications we're trying to avoid may set in. So that's why we want us to be intentional about our blood pressure, take the necessary steps to keep it where it should be, have goals as regards where you want the blood pressure to be, and then do those things that are necessary to keep it at that level. So we've mentioned the target level, so 120/80. And how do we make sure that happens? Number one, for every person that is above 40 years old, you should have a personal sphygmomanometer, a personal sphig. It's just a machine we use to check the blood pressure. You know, it allows you to do it yourself. You know, they say what you cannot measure, you cannot grow, or you cannot control. So the effort at controlling one's blood pressure starts at owning your own sphig at home. As you wake up in the morning, you check it, and then it's slightly higher than where it should be or lower than where it should be. You know, remember the steps you need to take to bring the blood pressure under control. Having said that, what are the steps? Taking medications is usually not the first step. There are other things we could do to control the blood pressure even before we begin to look at medication. Number one is diets. We talked about diets a lot earlier, but it's also very important. When it comes to blood pressure, there are some things we should avoid, and there's some things we should have more of. Now, number one, when it comes to things we should avoid, salt. Salt is being implicated in causing blood pressure, so in raising the blood pressure, because it's known that salt absorbs water, it increases the blood volume and gives the heart a lot more work in pumping and so on. So it's important to reduce salt in diets, and that includes the condiments that you use to spice your meals and so on, not just the white salt. Maggi is also salty. The things that come with noodles and so on, they're also salty. It's good to cut down on those, but much more than salt. Let me use this point to emphasize the need to cut down on carbonated drinks. Some people are addicted to those drinks. They're always on it. When you serve a meal, you feel like a meal is not complete if you don't add a drink to it. People even think it's a status thing to have your meal with a drink. Nothing can be as good as having your meal with water. Water is life. Water is healthy. Water cleanses your system. Water clears your mind. Water has a lot of benefits. It's on record that more than 60% of your body mass is water. So you should always follow your meals with water. An average adult should have up to 2.5 to 3 liters of water per day. We can go on and on emphasizing the importance of having water. So to control your blood pressure, first of all, have a target, and then get a sphig for yourself where you can measure. When you have that, take the steps of reducing salt in your diet, cutting down on carbonated drinks, taking more of water, sleep at least 6 to 7 hours a day. These are steps that will keep the blood pressure under control. So as we start the year, as you're targeting how much money you want to make, also have targets what you want your weight to be like. As you're targeting how much the promotion level you want to have at work, also have targets as regards what your blood pressure should be like, and be intentional about following through with the plans on how to keep it controlled. Now, all of this we have said is to emphasize the fact that we need to be intentional about our health, to prevent things that could cause problems later. You detect them on time and then cut them off so you don't have those complications that nobody wants to have. Thank you very much for your time. Until we meet again in Business Service, this segment is Health for Wealth, and we have just talked about how to set health goals for the year.